All right, guys. So to be 100% clear and honest, this is more of like a journal entry for me than an actual well thought out plan. This is the kind of the thoughts that have been just rumbling and tumbling through my brain recently, and about engines that I'm going to be doing starting now and in the very near future. I think it's safe to say that most of these will be started on or collected on or moving in the right direction before the end of the year. So I kind of like wrote them down real quick what I'm looking at with what I already have, what I plan on buying, and kind of going from there. So not too long ago, I picked up a D16 block on the cheap. It was a block with crank, $40. I have yet to really get a good look at the crank. One of the journals looks like it's got a little bit of scuffing on it. I'm not 100% sure yet because I got to get it out and look at it really close in detail and hit the micrometer on it and measure it out. But regardless, I now have an extra block, so that's eventually going to be turned into something. What I'm going to do with that, I think, is build another Vitara engine. I still got the other Vitara engine sitting outside that needs to be completed, so I guess that's the engine to add to the list. I got to... what I'm going to do with that is take the head off and look inside to see what happened there, if the cylinders got rusted up or not, and whether that did or did not happen. I might pull the pistons rod out to rehone or whatnot. I'm not really worried about ring damage because the fact that the rings are compressed in the Rantlands. Of course, I'm going to check those out and inspect them. But anyway, that Vitara block's not for sale. That's for me, unless somebody comes at me with a ridiculous amount of money, and then of course I'll be forced to let it go. But I fully plan on keeping that single cam for myself, and I have a damn near full single cam swap, so that would be something I'd like to do in the near future as well. I have a VTEC head also, so really all I need to finish that block is just ARP head studs, and then it's good to go. And then there is another engine that's on my mind would be that B20 block I have. I want to get high compression nip and racing pistons for that. Either the P30 style or the CTR. The CTR I think are rated like 13 and change on the compression side. But what I would really like to do is a non-VTEC high compression turbo build. Like a small turbo, mid 300 range and horsepower, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. But of course, I've got two projects that I'm already doing, so a third would be retarded. But I don't know, man. I'm not in a rush to sell that B20 when I make it, so, and of course I'm also sitting on that B18 I have with high compression pistons in it, and I think that I'm going to list that shit on eBay here this weekend. I got those heads I need to send out to Sam, and so I think what I'm going to do is this weekend I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy some of the stuff because I think I ran out of plastic wrap, so I'm going to get some more plastic wrap for that and start wrapping that B18 up and list it for sale. If you're curious for how much I'm going to sell it for, I'm going to list it for $1,200 because I do free shipping and I got to get paid my money. So if I'm going to pay like $130 in shipping or $140 in shipping, I need to make close to what my price is for what my build is. I listed it locally for $800. It's not selling, but then again, like shit that you would normally sell for a high dollar locally on Facebook gets bottom dollared out. That happens on a regular basis here. There was a sale recently for a K20A2. There was a full long block for $600, and it took a week or two to sell. It's ridiculous. So anyway, yeah, gonna sell that B18, and I need another car that's running, and I don't want to look at my projects as a reliable running car right now. So I'm gonna probably, there's a lot of $1,300 Civics for sale recently, even with AC. So I think that I'm gonna use that money towards buying a Civic that I can use as daily, just to and from work. Well, to work, the gym, and home. So there's that. I'm going to use that to get that started. And then when I started thinking about selling blocks on eBay again, I started thinking about those A3s I have. And I think what I'm going to do is to get Nip and Racing Type R K20R pistons and go ahead and buy some ARP rod bolts. And I like I've said before, I rate those rods in that A3 for right about 300 horsepower. And even then, it's kind of pushing it a little bit. But I feel like adding those rod bolts, you could definitely sit comfortably at 300, because a lot of times rods don't fail from snapping or bending. Rods fail at the bolt. They separate from high revving or over revving, and that's how you spin a bearing. So I feel that with the upgraded fucking rod bolts, you could definitely, you know, make some more power. And with those Type R pistons, you could, you know, easily make over 200 horsepower in A, or upwards of 300 horsepower after, you know, if you want to go forced induction. So I have two of those blocks. I'm going to buy double that sets for that. You know, it'll cost me about $300 for pistons and rods, or for pistons and rod bolts. And then, of course, I got to buy bearings or whatnot. So maybe like a $400 bill, and I'm probably going to list those for sale on eBay for like $1,000. So I'm going to do those two. And then I have a set of CP pistons that need a home. So probably going to grab those $150 I-beams and maybe make something out of that. And maybe sell that locally, or maybe list it to one of you guys. See you guys want to buy. I haven't decided on the price for that yet. And then there's another one, is my K28-2 block that I'm going to be building. I've sourced a block and a crank. And I've already talked to somebody about buying some pistons, so I am going to be buying some Tron pistons, and I'm going to get some Scat H-beams. So I'm probably going to be getting those from the same guy, and I'm going to see what I can do with that. I'm probably going to buy the block and the crank this week. I feel pretty confident that I'm going to buy it this week, at least the crank. And if I go and talk to the guy and buy the crank, I'll see if I can get him to hold it down, the block, until the next payday, which will be next Tuesday. So if I buy the crank this weekend, I'll have the money next Tuesday, and then buy the block, and then get started on that. I think it's the 17th. So if I get the rod and block, the block and the crank this week, and then I gotta wait, you know, to get the pistons, there's gonna be a sizable chunk of money. So maybe the middle or the second week of next month, I'll be able to buy the pistons. And then the rods not long after, so I'll have that block set aside and ready to go for the RSX. Then I guess, oh yeah, I have one other thing I need to build too, is I have 81.5 millimeter pistons and scat rods that I got out of that B18. I think I may eventually, you know, I think I'm probably going to just see if I can deck that block and reuse those. Now, the rods are scorched. They were scorched, but I did my research on, you know, on the bluing of rods. You know, like you would think that, oh, they got heat damage, they're not going to hold up the same quality. Well, the recommendation is to go to a machinist with the rods and have them inspected and see if they're usable again. The last time I did something like that, it cost me money that I didn't need to spend, and so I feel safe using those rods again, especially for power levels of what you can hold on the stock sleeves. So I'm probably gonna build that block and stash it on the side for like a board someday when I have a project, unless one of you guys want to buy it. And I think I might just I might be willing to offer that up at a discounted rate. But I feel 100%, you know, good about running those rods, and I'm gonna, of course, take the measurements and see, as long as they're not warped and they're, you know, you're good to go. So, and I, like I said, once again, I feel pretty confident in running those. So I'll rebuild that block and either list it to one of you guys for sale on a discounted rate, or I'll keep it, you know, no problem. Actually, right now, most of these blocks that I'm building, I don't even really want to sell any of them, but I live in a small place, so I can't hold on to all of them. I'm for sure keeping one of the steel cams. I wouldn't mind keeping the B20. And I definitely wouldn't mind keeping one of the A3s, and I might end up keeping that Scat Niven Racing build. So who knows? Maybe projects for days. I'm still talking to Keith over in on the West Coast about getting an EK sedan off him once he pulls that swap out of there, and bringing that shell over. So that shell is going to need a swap if I go through with that, and I'm leaning towards putting the single cam in there. But who knows? I might put the B20 in there. I think right now what the big problem is, I need transmissions. I don't have as many transmissions as I have engines, so there's that. But anyway, guys, if you heard any of these engines that I'm building that you maybe spike some interest, hit me up. Maybe we can talk numbers. I will tell you that these are all going to be short blocks, and they're probably going to be stripped down short blocks with just the block and rotating assembly, no brackets or any of that shit. because it's for ease of shipping, guys. It's gonna save a little bit of money on the shipping cost, and also it's gonna be easier for me to package. When you have all these brackets and shit you're including, it's just sticking out. And if I take them off the engine and put them in the boxes, they're gonna be bouncing around in there, regardless of whether I put the packaging foam or whatnot. So it's just easier, and especially if you're talking B series, guys. You guys can pick up a blown B series engine for parts for like $80. I mean, $80. You can get all the brackets off of it. You can even have the short block. If you got yourself a honing tool, you can clean the block, hone it, and resell it as a bare block, honed up and fresh. And you can even make your $80 back, if not a little bit more. So there you go. There's that. Just wanted to share that shit with you guys because, even though, like I pointed out the other day, when I talk about swaps or when I show that I'm progressing on the engine builds, you guys, not really tuning in, and that's fine. But for those of you guys that are looking forward to that, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to film these yet. I don't know if I'm going to do a walkthrough step by step because I've got several engine build videos, tutorials that are already like 2 hours in details that you can go watch. It's similar or the same. I might just do what I did in the very beginning, and instead of making like a full-on walkthrough guide, I will just do like 10-minute videos that just talk about what I'm doing in between steps or whatnot, or just showing you stuff. I haven't decided. I always ask for you guys' input, and usually the comments stay empty. So if nobody gives me any feedback on what you'd like to see or what you want to do, then I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I feel like at the time. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I know this is like kind of a nothing video, but I just wanted to let you guys know that at the end of this year and moving into next year, I'm going to be doing a lot of engine builds. And I think that once I get a couple sold and I start making I think it's really important I sell one of those A3 blocks, because if I can make that money back on the A3, then that'll put a big chunk of change in my pocket for buying parts for the other engines. So the good chance is that my build order is going to be... I'm going to do my A2, my personal A2, and then the first thing I'm going to do after that is the A3, because it's going to be the cheapest thing for me to put together. Besides, okay, maybe the B20. It's going to be between the A3 and the B20 block. The B20 block, I am willing to consider doing first if I have somebody who wants to buy it, but we might need to be talking deposit here. So, again, hit me up if anything that you heard interests you. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and peace.